Colleagues, friends and alumni. I'm pleased to see quite a few of our alumni here today. On behalf of the University of Sydney Business School, welcome to this Digital Disruption Group Disrupt Sydney event. As Christine said, my name's David Grant and it's my honour and privilege to be the Co-Dean of the Business School at the University of Sydney. Before I continue, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and especially to their elders, the Cadigal people of the Eora Nation. And as we share our own knowledge, teaching, learning and research practices within the University of Sydney, and specifically within the Business School, may we also pay respect to the knowledge embedded forever within Aboriginal custodianship of country. Well, as I said, it's a pleasure to be welcoming you all here today at the Business School's new CBD campus. We're very proud of this campus, and I think you'll find as the day progresses, if you're here all day, that you'll get a good opportunity to look around at this wonderful facility. It was a facility we needed as we launched our new MBA earlier this year, and it's proven to be a fantastic facility to work with for not just the MBA, but events like this. Look, we have participants at today's event from institutions and organisations across Sydney, from elsewhere in Australia, and of course from overseas. And welcome to all of you, and thank you for making the effort to join us. That in itself, I think, speaks so much about the significance that is attached to the topic of today's gathering. The Digital Disruption Group, who are the instigators of this event, is led by Associate Professor Kai Reimer and Dr. Christine Deary, and they're both located in the Business School. For the group and its members, digital disruption refers to changes that are enabled by digital technologies that occur at a pace and a magnitude that disrupt, for better or for worse, established ways of value creation, social interaction and doing business. And I'll return to that notion of for better or for worse in a moment. It does truly look like Christine and Kai have assembled a superb mix of expert academics and practitioners who clearly share an interest in the challenges and issues associated with digital disruption, and they've put together a terrific programme, as I'm sure you can see from the programme that's been set out on your seats. I'm sure we're going to see some lively discussion today and debate. It is a pleasure for us to host this event at the Business School. And from a personal point of view, for me to note that this is really the first major event, if you like, that the members of the Digital Disruption Group have organised. I should explain a little bit of background. The school has provided some seed funding for the group's establishment earlier this year, and we were pleased to do so. And that funding was a no-brainer, really, for several reasons. First and foremost, why wouldn't we want to commit support to something that's so critically important to business and the economy and society more broadly? There's hardly a day goes by where issues that can be linked to digital disruption don't surface in the media in some way. We know it relates to debates rather on future productivity and performance and the competitiveness of our economy. And as commentators have noted, the Australian Deloitte's report on digital disruption being just one example, it's impacted on the way that we think about and do business and socially interact in so many ways, some of them very unexpected. I note we have an election on Saturday. I'm sure we've all noticed. It hasn't exactly passed us by, but in part that's been fought through social media. And of course, from my point of view, here in the tertiary education sector, the emergence of massive online courses and so on, other forms of digital learning, is causing us to ask questions about the sustainability of the current model for delivering university education in both the private and public sectors. So one can see lots of links with debates about digital disruption there. And of course, as I said a moment ago, there's a need to think about disruption not simply in negative terms. There seems to be, with the term disruption, there is often a negative connotation. But this has to be something that, in the case of digital disruption, is something that might also bring about real important opportunities. As I said, digital disruption, as the term suggests, is about change. It is actually about change. And one of the things about change is that rather than embrace it, all too often we see it through a lens of kind of fear, uncertainty and doubt, what's sometimes called the FUD factor. Indeed, I think it was Mark Twain who once said, "You know, I'm all for progress. It's just change that I object to." Right now, I think business organisations and the people in them have to get over that in relation to digital disruption. I know in a sense I'm preaching to the converted here, but nonetheless, a real challenge for business is not how to resist, avoid, work around, work through digital disruption. It's rather to leverage it to optimal effect, so that the contributions of the digital age are truly made to our economy and society. They truly materialise. And of course, that's, as I say, very much what you're exploring today. The second point about why we funded the Digital Disruptions group is that the school's support for the group was very much recognition of, I think, the school's long-standing interest in and expertise in information and communication systems and the impact of new technology and media in organisations. And Kai and Christine and their colleagues in that group are a testament to that expertise. And several of the disciplines, the groups within the school, the functional groups, if you like, are represented here this morning. So the Business Information Systems Group, the Work and Organisational Studies Group, they all demonstrate the breadth of interest that exists in the school regarding this issue. And indeed, researchers from a number of different disciplines have been coordinating on a range of projects already, including government-funded research related to skill shortages and talent acquisition, and the use of social media in recruitment, notably in the professional services sector. And my third point about our support for the group is that it's support for a group of colleagues that are genuinely seeking to engage with industry and others with an interest in digital disruption. So, as you can see from today's format, it's about today is about initiating meaningful conversations between and among both academics and practitioners. And that's very much what we're about in the school. We're not about just academics talking to academics, as valuable as that can be. I reassure you, it can be. But for us, really, what today's about is very much aligned with the school strategy of producing research that's not only academically rigorous, but which can inform policy and practice. Or to put it another way, for us, research that enables us to engage with the business and other sectors of the community and do so in ways that add real value, if you like, is core to our mission. Now, as I've said, as you can see from today's programme, what Kai and Christine have done is assemble a terrific group of speakers and participants. They've brought together business and academia in order to generate new ideas, stimulate innovative ways of thinking, and to brainstorm, if you like, potential areas of research for the group as it moves ahead in its research agenda. I'm going to wind up now, and in doing so, I just want to make say a few quick thank yous. First, wherever there is, I'd like to thank our keynote speaker, Adam Pisoni. Adam, it's fantastic to have you here with us today. We very much appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts with us, to support this event, and we look forward to hearing your speech in a moment. And Adam's going to be more formally introduced by Kai in a second. I'd also like to thank our other various speakers, Steve Cadigan, Adam Holloway, Anne Bartlett-Bragg and Simon Terry. And I'd also like to thank all of you who have kindly volunteered or have been volunteered, as I understand it, to act in various sessions as facilitators or roundtable hosts. There are so many of you, I can't name you all, but thank you to all of you for your input and your effort in making this event the success it's surely going to be. Now, given the fabulous mix of participants, as I said, I'm sure today's talks, roundtables and so on, they're going to stimulate that lively debate and discussion that we want. I know you're keen to be getting started. There's one last thank you I should make. I want to finally thank Kai and Christine, there they are, for putting the Digital Disruption Group together and, of course, for organising this event today. It's a tribute to both of them, to both their standing among their colleagues in academia and also their standing in the wider business community. It's a tribute to them that this event's come together so well, and we genuinely, I certainly do, on behalf of the school, I want to say we appreciate all the effort you've put into this, so I'd like to acknowledge that now. Okay, so I'm going to pass you over to Kai and Christine, who's going to talk. They're going to talk a little bit more about the formalities of the day, as it were, and how it's set up, and then formally introduce Adam. Once again, thank you for hearing me out, and I hope you have an enjoyable and fruitful day.
Can I, before we start, just ask any people up the back to come and sit down the front here? We've got plenty of empty seats at the front. Come on, Philip. Great, thank you. I thought we'd start today by just, first of all, telling you a little bit about why we did this in the first place. Why did Disrupt Sydney even come about? What is the Digital Disruption Group? David has introduced it extremely well, and thank you, David, for those very kind words, and also for the support that we've had from the University of Sydney Business School, which has been fantastic and enabled all of this to happen. So Kai and I, a little while ago, sat down and said, look, there's got to be some way that we can start introducing this conversation between academics that are doing a lot of research in this area and industry that's very interested in exploring this. And more particularly, there has to be a way that we can start to ensure that the topics that we're keen to explore and research are actually the ones that have some sort of resonance and traction within industry. So we put together the Digital Disruption Research Group. It starts to get really hard to say. I'm going to imagine we'll have a bit of a test at around 3:30 today to see how many people can still say digital disruption. So Kai and I put this group together. It's been a very exciting time over the last few months. We've got some fantastic people who have come together with us to enable this event to happen, but also, more importantly, to start talking about meaningful research and meaningful issues that we all need to be engaging with. And I think that's the most important thing. What we want out of today is we want a conversation to start happening. It is happening, and we want it to start happening amongst the group of us that are here today so that we're all beginning to contribute to ways in which we can understand what is happening with digital disruption, what is happening around in our marketplaces and in our industries that enable us to cope and manage and take advantage of the huge opportunity that is before us. So that's how this all came about, really. And every one of our speakers today, or most of our speakers today, are part of that group. We all meet regularly and we engage regularly. We would encourage any of you who want to participate in that and want to be part of what we're doing to start to connect with us in that way. So, without more ado, I'm going to pass over to Kai, and he's going to introduce our keynote speaker today, Adam Pisoni.